Welcome back to the first of the worst podcast. I am Brendan Murphy.
And I am Steve Arendas.
Steve, today's topic is one that, I considered myself an expert at it until I went on the internet. And then you feel like you know nothing.
The internet will do that to you.
And I mean, in fairness, I was an expert 20 years ago at this. So my expertise needs to be
You need to polish it up.
Polished a little bit. We're talking about the O.J. Simpson trial, which is with the new O.J. FX TV show. Have you watched it?
I have not watched it. It's on my DVR.
Okay, I was hoping you got to watch it before this because I just wanted to make fun of it a little bit.
You can make fun of it all you want. I mean, I'm not worried about spoilers.
First of all, no spoilers.
I kind of know that's what's great about it. You can talk about it all you want.
I think it's pretty shitty, which for FX, they've been on point. You know,
they really have. Yeah.
The writing is so bad. There's one scene where Marsha Clark, who's just terrible, is in a room with, I guess, the guy who would be the DA, because she's the assistant DA, I think. And they're talking about how the cops just did such a bad interview with OJ. She goes, "What's wrong with them?" He goes, "Marsha, he has over 2,000 rushing yards in one season. How will they know how to interview this guy?"
God, good thing they didn't also have to interview like Eric Dickerson.
So we're doing an OJ trials centric podcast this week, and we're ranking the top 10 characters in the OJ trial.
Yeah, Brendan's very much going to be the expert in this one, and I would say if we're taking what is the final top 10 list, it's actually Brendan's list, not mine.
It was hard to rank, but I would like to talk about my expertise for a second, if you wouldn't mind.
Go for it.
In 5th grade at Holmes Elementary School on Chicago Avenue and Forest in Oak Park, there's an election every year, learning about democracy. I am of an age that I was in 5th grade on an odd numbered year, so there wasn't like a gubernatorial or presidential election. Okay. You do it through the whole school, and maybe I think 4th, 5th, and 6th grades or something. Okay. And in my year, the trial topic began as the O.J. Simpson trial, guilty or innocent, for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. Our teacher, Alan Jones.
Question: Can I ask you a question about your 4th, 5th, and 6th grade? How ethnically diverse was your 4th, 5th, and 6th grade?
Actually, probably 30% black.
Okay, I figured actually because I know where you're from. So yeah, okay. I was just wondering.
Like it's representative.
Yeah,
of probably like where the country is.
Yeah.
There was no Mexicans there or anything, so it's not representative of that part of the country.
Okay.
Women could vote, so that was good.
Kind of a shame.
Now they can run the fucking thing, apparently.
Maybe.
According to people sitting in preschool chairs in Iowa, in basements. So the way it worked was that the amount you could do, you could be like a poller, or you had all these things. And one of the things was you could be a debater. And if you did a lot of research and contributed to the class discussion on the topic, you could be a debater. And I watched SportsCenter every day of my life, still kind of do. And there was a ton of OJ coverage on SportsCenter for whatever it was, 2 years.
Okay.
And so then I got to be on the prosecution team, which was worked out to be all white kids. And we went against an all black defense team.
Oh no.
And I was convinced he was guilty, as I think now almost everyone is. I think everyone was kind of like, he's probably did it, but there's some shit. And before we got to the vote, however, the principal interceded, and probably rightfully so, and said that this is not a topic for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. We have to change the election. So then it was, who is your favorite Ninja Turtle? And I debated on half of Donatello.
Yeah, you're a Donatello guy like me?
I am.
Good to hear that. The worst answer is Michelangelo. I probably hate you if you're a Michelangelo.
He's who everyone loves.
Yeah, he's the worst.
So that is how my expertise was honed through SportsCenter watching 20 years ago. But I will admit, it has been a while.
Do you remember where you were during the Ford Bronco chase?
I was on my way to a Sox game. It was Oak Park Youth Baseball night.
Okay. I was laying in front of my TV as I was wont to do, watching the NBA Finals. That was Houston. Who was Houston playing in that one? It was definitely a Houston one.
Houston, New York.
New York. And like how it like started as like they would cut in and be like, I think something's going on, and then it was like they had like a picture of like the Bronco in the corner, and at some point it kind of just took over the show. Like that's what you were watching.
That was game 6.
Yeah,
that series.
I remember it was like I was like laying in front of the TV with my feet like on the bottom of like the entertainment center, like watching it.
And I remember where I was when the verdict. We were coming back from our overnight field trip in 6th grade. And we were listening to it on the school bus. And I was astounded. I didn't know guilty people could be innocent until that moment. I didn't know that was even a possibility.
How much, like, so you were in 5th grade, you said?
5th grade during the election part of it.
So maybe like 4th grade when it happened? Or like the summer?
Okay, so it would have been the summer going to 5th grade. Then that whole saga was through my 5th grade year. And then the verdict didn't come until I was in 6th grade.
So you were on the younger end of people who could actually kind of be into it and like understand what's going on.
Funny thing is now I hate sensationalized trials, and the whole Greta Van Susteren, Nancy Grace industry.
Well, I totally agree. Except
shit out of me.
because they force them now.
You're right. This one just happened.
Yeah, this one was like organic in a way that it wasn't forced. So let's just get into it. You're definitely the expert. I'm gonna have to. I might have 1 or 2 people you don't have on your list. There was a few. I mean, there's definitely more than 10 characters here. So,
did you see that CNN had an alphabetized list of all the players in the OJ trial?
No, I just did this off the top of my head.
They had to break it into 3 different web pages.
I hope they had all the people. I just did this off the top of my head.
Oh, that's impressive, though. I mean, you're an expert of sorts if you can get 10 off the top of your head.
My list of things I wrote down is actually 13 people. And I knew some others I knew weren't going to make it, so I didn't even write them down.
I didn't get any dark horses off the list. There are some people that, like, Gloria Allred was on the list who I didn't realize was...
Well, I think I have one of the dark horse. So it's at my number 9 slot, so we'll get to it soon.
Okay, so my number 10 is OJ.
Because OJ?
Here's the thing. It's all his creation. Or debate.
Yeah, I have him much higher on my list.
But he doesn't do anything. In the trial, he's like Oz, the whole thing. He's like the epicenter of it, but he doesn't do anything in sight.
So I factored in like his post-trial search for the real killers on the golf courses across California.
Okay, all right. And if I did it book, okay,
yeah.
So
I factored that into my ranking.
You're right.
I factored in post, like how sometimes a little bit how they like pulled it off post trial too. It wasn't just trial for.
You're right, rankings. And I didn't really think about.
But you're right. Though, if you're factoring just like trial, he actually didn't do much, except for murder some people.
Yeah. And do I have to put a disclaimer on this? Obviously, this was not good.
It's not good. That's why it's a list.
That happened. If you're offended, just go.
If you're also offended at people making jokes about this, you didn't live through it because like that was like the entire like late night talk show circuit for like 3 years.
Norm Macdonald got fired for it.
So speaking of terrible people, my number 10, maybe the biggest scumbag in this that didn't murder somebody, and that's Mark Fuhrman.
Yeah, I have him higher.
He's just a horror, from what it turns out to be, just like a horrible human being, right?
Yeah, I kind of just look at this as a narrative.
Yeah.
And in the narrative, he's the villain, even though he didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, he kind of is the villain.
But because the defense team was so great that they were able to just basically put him on trial.
Yeah, it became the Mark Fuhrman trial.
It did.
And they were able to prosecute him more than OJ was able to get prosecuted.
And then I remember at the time, it was just like people were like, yep, cops are racist. And here we are, and guess what?
Cops are racist. My number 9. This is one I think you might not have, probably don't have. He was not necessarily in the trial, but was a reporter on the trial and became famous as being a reporter for this trial and holds a place dear to my heart because he is the man who runs TMZ, and that's Harvey Levin.
I didn't know that. I mean, I know you're a Harvey guy, but I didn't know.
Yeah, he was like the main.
getting famous off the trial was Greta Van Susteren.
So Harvey worked for NBC Los Angeles as their as their law expert.
Okay, that was what Greta was for some other network.
For some other network, right? So Harvey did that because remember he was like at People's Court. He did all that weird stuff too.
He still does that. People's Court.
He must make a lot of money on it.
He's probably the executive producer, and that show is on all the time.
Yeah, and it's syndicated, so it's like just printing money. But yeah, Harvey. I love Harvey. Big Harvey guy. Love
Harvey. He's a periphery player, but he counts.
No, I know. That's why I didn't put him higher on the list.
I had Chachi, OJ's dog, on my list. Didn't make the cut, but he was a candidate.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put him higher because he clearly was on the periphery. All right, who's your number 9?
My number 9 is Chris Darden.
Chris Darden, okay.
I feel like Chris Darden is a sympathetic figure to me because he's just kind of the number 2 on the Titanic.
Definitely
like
number 2.
Didn't seemingly do a terrible job. Probably didn't want to be on the case in the first place.
Do you think any of them did?
Oh, I think Marcia Clark did. She's not even on my list, by the way.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah. She's so horrible.
Well, she's on my list just from her hair.
Oh, God. She was like... a power woman has really changed over 20 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just always felt bad for Chris Darden. Even at the time, I was like, this poor guy. Also, I think they clearly put him on the trial because he wasn't on the initial team as a move to pander.
Yeah, because he's black, yeah.
So not only did he probably not want on by most accounts, he was basically put on out of discrimination.
Yeah. Probably.
So yeah, you got to feel bad for Chris Darden.
Absolutely. Who's your number 8?
Al Cowlings, the driver of the Broncos.
Also my number 8.
What I didn't realize about Al was he was the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft. How did he end up being OJ's bag man?
I don't know. I don't know, man. AC. Second most famous AC ever, besides Slater.
You put him ahead of Green? I guess because of this, he probably is ahead of Green.
AC Green's the most famous virgin of all time. Well, maybe just the most famous virgin of all time. Besides Mary, that's second, number 2.
Number 2, top 10 virgins.
Well, to be fair, one of them might have lied about it. I'm not going to say which one. Maybe both. I don't know.
Okay, while we're on USC type stuff, Al was the first pick to where did he get drafted? I'm looking this up. Oh, to Buffalo. So he was even OJ's teammate.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah, they were tight. You don't get to be the guy driving the Bronco if you're not tight.
No, OJ. You know. It's also funny that a Bronco now to me is, I remember it as like a not that nice a car. Right?
There is like a coolness factor if you get like the convertible ones, like to like ride on the beach like an old one and get it like set up nice.
But it was essentially a truck.
It was like an early
really
SUV.
That nice a truck. It was an early SUV. You're right.
Which was just kind of an early SUVs were kind of just like pickup trucks that had like the bed cover, but like permanent with a seat in it. Right? Like they were much more early SUVs were much more pickup trucks than like what they are now.
I wonder if it was like an expensive car.
I don't know. Football players didn't make near as much money back then.
But OJ was pretty fucking rich.
You're right. Yeah, he was like did TV. He did like TV, did movies.
A celebrity more than an athlete at this point in his career.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I knew who OJ Simpson was, and it was not because I watched him play football.
Yeah, he was out. I mean, he was out of football for 20 years almost.
Like, yeah, I was going to compare him to another good running back, but that was Jim Brown. But that's the same thing. So I don't.
There is one rumor I discovered today that I loved, and that's that apparently there's allegations, and he had to get grand juried about it, that Marcus Allen had an affair with Nicole.
All those USC guys.
Like, they are rivals in every way, huh? Like, it's hard to debate who's better. Marcus Allen came after Juice.
I think Juice is better. Speaking of Juice, I went to a Bucks game recently. And OJ Mayo plays for the Bucks. Have you ever heard OJ Mayo referred to as Juice?
No, but I'm sure people do, right?
Oh, their stadium announcer refers to him as Juice every time he scores.
See, I would think that after OJ, that would probably be grandfathered out in a bad way.
That's exactly what I was thinking the whole time. We were all talking about it. The guys I went with were like, no, you can't really use Juice anymore. It's over.
Can't you do like pass the mayo?
You're right. He already has a food themed thing going on with his name. There's no reason to put Juice in there.
I would even go as far as to say OJ should be retired. I don't know what Mayo's first name is.
I don't either. I mean, OJ Simpson's name wasn't great, so maybe that's why he went by OJ. But I don't know what OJ Mayo's real name is. What if his first name is Juice and he went by OJ as a joke? That'd be great.
What if he's Orenthal as well?
Exactly.
After a great man.
Went to USC. He did go to USC. But he got paid to do it. I'm
sure the original Juice did too.
I'm on my number 8, which I already said was the same, which is Collins. And then so my number 7 is Robert Kardashian. I had to pick one of the white guy dream teamers. And he was the one that always stuck in my head more than Shapiro, though. And he's clearly created more of a lasting memory than Robert Shapiro. I think the Kardashian family is more prominent than LegalZoom.com.
Yeah, and more profitable.
So I got Robert Kardashian, and yeah, possible if maybe last of his name. Well, there's already Rob Kardashian, but if Rob Kardashian doesn't have any kids,
well, he's a fucking problem child. Shockingly.
Which is great though. Don't you have to root for the guy who's the problem child in that family, who's like there just to like piss off the rest of them?
Yeah. Now that's Caitlyn though.
Yeah, but like she's just one of them now, kind of.
Just one of the gals.
Yeah. She's like there to be like
Rob just has no bro support.
No, none. Brody Jenner, maybe? I don't know.
Brody, I don't think wants in.
Brody's got his own thing going on.
Brody was just like, you know what? I was able to get famous, and now I have some sort of privacy to my life. This is probably great.
Yeah. Yeah,
I always liked the way Brody carried himself on those shows.
Yeah, Brody's doing all right.
Like, he never took it that seriously. He always had a new hot girlfriend, and he never was like a source of the drama. He was just kind of the broccoli of the meal. No, he wasn't the broccoli because broccoli is like what you need. He was kind of the cornbread.
Yeah.
Like, you love it. It's not a whole meal, but
yeah, it's great. Nobody's mad about the cornbread. All right. So then we're on your number 7.
I'll come back to Bob Kardashian, and that's the one guy that I'm really going to tie in with the TV show for my first episode. My number 7 is Fred Goldman's mustache, and Fred. He was rocking the Raleigh fingers thing.
Not Ron Goldman?
Well, Ron Goldman's dead. I guess I didn't put Ron or Nicole on the list.
Oh, sorry. I didn't either.
Fred is obviously he's Ron's dad, but he ended up getting super rich out of this. Not like you would trade your child for all this money, but if your child had to die, this is not a horrible outcome. Besides that, he was tortured, murdered at a very young age.
And then you had to sit through a trial describing the way your son was murdered for like 3 years.
And you didn't even win that trial. Then you had to go to the civic trial, which you did win.
Oh, man. Great mustache, though. You're right.
Great mustache.
All right. Who's your number 6?
It's Robert Kardashian. Or no, it's Mark Furman. We talked about him. Mark
Furman. Terrible, terrible human being. Furman.
Terrible, racist human being.
The big loser.
Then went on to do.
The trial.
Well, no, he got to do fucking crime scene investigation and analysis with Fox News. I'm not kidding.
I didn't know that, but that's amazing. All right. My 6 and 5 are together. It's Darden and Clark. I put them together because didn't there was there always rumors that they had some kind of relationship going on? Right? Am I incorrect? Or did I make that up?
I haven't heard it, but I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff, because I was a kid, I don't remember. Like, there's this character played by Connie Britton in the movie, and I forget her name. Faye Resnick, who just comes out and was like, we used to do all kinds of blow and have lesbian sex. Don't remember hearing about that.
Also, Faye Resnick, correct me if I'm wrong, was she black?
She looks mixed.
Okay. Well, Connie Britton's a ginger, so that's a stretch still.
I mean, they got Selma Blair playing an Armenian, so...
Hey, I actually feel like it's pretty good casting.
She looks like her. She does.
Well, yeah. What was her maiden name? Is she Armenian too, or is it just Kardashian's Armenian?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I don't know her maiden name because I only know her two married.
Well, it's hard to even judge the way she looks now because we know she's few faces removed from her original one.
Honestly, I looked at that was like the best casting job I thought when you looked at their faces. Like when you look at a young version of her and like how Selma Blair at least looks for the part.
I mean, the lady, I don't know who it is. The lady looks exactly like Marcia Clark.
It's Sarah Paulson.
Okay.
Who I think won like an Emmy for American Horror Story, and she's in stuff. She's in like, oh yeah, but that's just those two. It's just the weird relationship between those two is what it was all about for me.
Marcia Clark lost his trial because she was, I mean, maybe it's because people have trouble with powerful women. I don't know. But she apparently, everything I read today, and even when I remember at the time, was that she just came off as brash and kind of bitchy. And she had a particularly contentious exchange with Kato Kaelin.
I don't think back then you could be like a semi-powerful businesswoman without people calling you bitchy. It's even hard to do now.
You still probably can't.
Yeah.
It sucks. It'll come back to haunt you in elections.
What's your number 5? Who's your number 5?
It's Robert Kardashian.
Okay.
The way that they play him in the movie.
He's played by David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer. Is that he's like this doe-eyed moron who's like, Juice. Don't do it, Juice. But in real life, he was a high-powered LA mover and shaker who actually wasn't an attorney at the time, from what I understand, and then got barred or whatever it is. Yeah.
That like scene, was that like supposedly in Khloe's bedroom?
They say Kim.
Oh, okay. Kim. I don't know. Maybe they changed it for the show. I don't know. But I thought it was in Khloe's in the day. But I guess I saw the clip of it, and like it was definitely for like a girl that was Kim's age at the time because there was like
posters. There's all the New Kids on the Block posters.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Which is hilarious. Yeah, Bobby K. Yeah, who's your number 4 then?
I was this for Halloween in 6th grade or 5th grade maybe because I was obsessed with the OJ trial, and this required the purchase of a full-on mask. And now that I think about it, it might have even been kind of racist, because you're impersonating someone that's not your race. Judge Lance Ito.
Judge Lance Ito. See, I don't know if the racist aspect of it. I don't know if it's racist if you're wearing a mask, because you can wear a mask of any person.
You're right.
If you like made your eyes slanty, then that's racist. Or you know what I mean? Or if you like colored your face. But I think if you wear a mask, people wear masks of people all the time.
And you know what else? What happens if you do that? If you wear a Judge Lance Ito mask, a woman will not have sex with you until you're 19.
He's also my number 4, by the way. So we synced up here. Yeah, Lance Ito. Did he do anything? Did he parlay this? Did he get like a court TV show?
No, he just stayed on the bench as a like pretty well-respected judge. He clearly fucked up letting the TV cameras into the courtroom, though.
Yeah, that was not a good decision. That was not a good decision.
I mean, you watch the news in Illinois, we're still looking at those ridiculous court sketches.
Yeah, like with the Blagojevich trial and everything happened.
Yeah. I'm nodding my head. That's probably not evident for the podcast.
Lance Ito. Yeah, he should have just quit and become like a Judge Judy type. Like, imagine like if you were just like convicted of another crime the next year and like some like you're like in like some like small claims court and you like or some weird like small court you walk in like Lance Ito's your judge. like a year after.
It happened to hundreds of people.
I know, it's crazy. It could like Marsha Clark been defending you or prosecuting you, or no? Did she like quit?
I don't know exactly when she quit. I mean, she has quit. She also now does work for Fox News.
I'm guessing Christopher Darden does not work for Fox News.
No, he does not, to my knowledge.
Yeah, Judge Lancito. I feel like one of like the weird things that people remember from the trial are the stupid dancing Itos from Jay Leno?
Was that who did that?
Or was it?
Don't have a recollection of it.
Letterman. It was one of the two.
This was the period of my life when I was watching Pauly Shore films, and obviously with Pauly Shore, you have to call them films. And there's one.
What's your favorite Pauly Shore movie?
Encino Man.
Oh no way! I'm a Biodome man.
Biodome. I'm speaking of jury duty here. There's a scene where he dresses up like a Latina woman and says something like, "Say hi to Judgito."
Absolutely.
It's always stuck with me in my head.
I think Encino Man, Biodome, and what's the one?
Son-in-law.
Yeah,
the whole canon.
Yeah, I'm a Biodome man. None of those are good movies.
I loved him when I was a kid. I'm ashamed.
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah, I was talking to Ashley about this the other day. I was like, I mean, the amount of stupid conversations you have to have with your kid over their lifespan, you just got to be like, yeah, that thing that I don't care about at all, I have to act interested in. That's way worse than dating. But I guess you love them way more than anyone you date.
Yeah, that's part of it. that's
you haven't had to have them, have you?
I haven't had to have any conversations with the kids yet.
I guess there's a dynamic where you just get to make up lies whenever you want, and they will believe you, which is amazing.
At what age though? Now do they just ask Siri if I'm full of shit?
Oh yeah, that whole lying thing, it just gets worse for you.
Right? Like it's something like pretty young, probably they'll be able to figure that out.
I was in a car seat till I was like 3.
Now you gotta be in a car seat till you're like 7 or something crazy.
That's insane to me. I was driving at that age.
Down the driveway.
Not well, but no, I mean.
Yeah, no, like now they have to be in car seats like forever. You're like backwards in your car seat almost till you're 3.
Yeah, that's disorienting.
Right? It's something like you see like kids that like get dropped off at school, they get out of their car seats.
Like they can get themselves out, but they still have to go in a car seat.
Yeah, it just has to do with height or something, or I don't know, weight. I don't know.
I'm sure it's safer. I'm not saying it's not.
It's a safety thing. It's not just like trying to trap the kid or whatever. I don't know tons about it since they're still like in their baby car seats. Like I don't know. We haven't advanced the car seat 2 yet, so
that's probably not that far off though.
No, I mean probably sometime before the summer.
All right, so I did Judge Ito for my number 4, and he was also your number 4.
He's my number 4, so that means I'm on my number 3. And I think there's a chance we sync up here. I mean, there's definitely a chance.
I think we might have saved final 3.
No, because you said one of mine.
Oh, okay.
Because you already ranked OJ. So I forgot somebody. Most likely. Kato is my number 3.
He's my number 2.
Okay. Kato's my number 2. My number 3 is Kato. I mean, I actually weirdly don't know a lot about him. I just said he was just like this goof that was like in the middle of this trial. Like,
he
right?
wasn't really an actor, from what I could gather. He like was. Well, he was an actor. Like they're an actor.
He was an actor, like how everybody in LA is an actor, right?
Yeah.
In that manner.
But he was just kind of America's house guest, just like staying in the guest house, doing random odd jobs.
Ridiculous hair.
Hair of the time, kind of.
But like even longer though. I know that cut you're talking about, but like it was even like
more a Patrick Swayze thing going on a little bit.
Oh, don't ever knock Swayze by comparing his hair to Kato Kaelin's. Swayze's hair is glorious. Yeah, Kato's my number 3. I don't know a lot about him. I'm sure you'll have more anecdotes to talk about Kato when it gets to yours.
I mean, he made a career out of this more than anyone else did, except the Kardashian daughters, I guess. But
yeah,
I mean, Kato Kaelin still hosts a talk show or something.
What? That's nuts.
And for some reason, he became a panelist when VH1 started those shows.
Like the 90s, 80s shows.
Like I Love the 80s might have been the first one.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He started out with like doing like mostly comics and people that had credibility. And now those shows are on everything like 10 dumbest criminals in Cincinnati. And Kato Kaelin is now just like making jing off of those ridiculous shows where they have just unqualified people make bad jokes that are probably not written by them.
Yeah, are those shows still on? Like I mean, there was a time when like I watched like I Love the 80s, I Love the 70s.
But those were funny.
Yeah, because they had like comedians on it. Yeah, they were.
And they did Best Week Ever, and they had like great comedians on that show.
It wasn't the same though. It was like too much. I don't know. Like Best Week Ever wasn't as good. I know they had like better comedians on it, but like it wasn't as good as like the I Love the 80s because I guess you're only working off a week of material rather than
kind of like the Stoop. I guess would like what it would compare.
But the Stoop is better than Best Week Ever.
Best Week Ever didn't have clips.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Okay, that's part of it.
Patton Oswalt got fired from that show.
Did he?
Because he was so enraged about celebrity culture that he couldn't like say anything nice. He'd just be like, "I hope Paris Hilton gets AIDS and dies." This is one of his bits. I'm not like unearthing something here, but
I love when celebrities hate celebrity culture. It's one of my favorite things. Because he's a celebrity, whether he wants to be or not.
Yeah, I guess.
But he's not like part of like.
He's not a beautiful person, so of course.
Well, you also only know him from his work. You know what I mean? Like I don't see other things Patton Oswalt does, though I do know he does a lot of like nerdy shit too.
Well, you might follow him on Twitter or something.
No, I don't follow him on Twitter, please. No offense to every comedian that's listening to this or Brendan. You guys aren't interesting on Twitter. Comedians aren't good on Twitter.
I'm amazing at @shy_Murph.
No, you are good because it's not just. Here's the thing. I don't want you to just like throw jokes out on Twitter. You can do that, but I need some like information from you.
Did you see I had a tweet this week that Kobe Bryant has a song on Spotify?
What? Like an old one or a new one?
It's new, and he's just like the hype man for a Chinese rapper.
Love it. Remember, he made a rap album. It was never released, I believe.
Okay, so that's not on Spotify. But this is just a song where he's like, "You want a ball? Chow."
He made a rap album. I don't know if either his or Allen Iverson's was definitely never released, but there was some like songs leaked. Kobe's was maybe more of like an R&B rap album.
Oh God. Like what Jamie Foxx did.
Yeah, but like before that. I feel like Kobe's wearing like white silk suits while he's doing stuff. Like I don't know. So then that was. What are we even on right now? We got so sidetracked there. My 3 was Kato.
Your 3 is Kato, and
so then your 3.
My 3 is a guy I think you did forget.
Okay.
It's F. Lee Bailey.
Totally forgot him. Yep.
He had a flask on the table during the trial, and he said it was full of coffee.
Love it.
And then they just let him do it.
Maybe there was a splash of coffee in there.
Yeah, coffee. Yeah, you're right. There was coffee in it.
Yes, what's in his coffee? That's not necessarily a lie. If there's 90% whiskey.
Well, he was a guy who got disbarred in several states, so apparently he knows some of the ways to technically not lie, but pretty much lie. He's a huge drunk. Several DUIs.
Several DUIs is so impressive in a terrible way.
Well, he's an attorney and apparently a really good one. So
different states have, I guess it's probably easier to do depending on where you're from. Like I live in Wisconsin now. I assume I could just get 100 of them.
The legal limit is 0.26. So
in Wisconsin.
I heard an anecdote when I was in Wisconsin once about someone who was drunk driving, got in a crash, leaving the bar, walked back in the bar, and people were like, call the cops and get, what do they say? Call the cops, keep drinking, call the cops, say you spun out and hit it, and you drank to calm down afterwards. So you're drunk
the
now.
Bar said that. That's a great move by the bar, though, because the bar could get in trouble sometimes.
You weren't drunk at the time, but you are now.
There's got to be a way that they can just be like, "There's no way you consume that much alcohol." You know what I mean? Like if they could, I don't know. But by the time they give you the test, I don't know. That's a sticky wicket.
And this was a Wisconsin tip I picked up. I'm not saying it works or it doesn't. It's just an anecdote I observed in Wisconsin. Everyone's kind of like, obviously, that's what you would do.
Everybody was like, "Yeah, come on."
What kind of fucking idiot doesn't know that?
You just walk.
Whereas my brother and I were like, huh.
When you get in a car accident when you've been drinking, so the rule is you go to a bar and drink more.
But this sounds like she like hit something leaving the parking lot of the bar. So she didn't even really get on the road.
So it's like blatantly obvious, like what happened. They just might not be able to prove it.
Yeah.
Guys, don't drink and drive. It's really bad.
No, don't.
So who is your number 2?
My number 2 is Cato.
Cato. Yeah, Cato.
Also, ironically named after one of the great philosophers of all time, and he can't put together a coherent sentence.
I totally didn't ever piece that together.
How do you like democracy?
Oh, Cato Kalin. So yeah, then my number 2 was OJ. The juice himself. It was really for me. I ranked him higher for
trial career as a murderer was pretty hilarious.
Hunting for the real killers by just playing a lot of golf, right? And at one point did he try to rob his Heisman Trophy back?
He's in jail right now, probably for the rest of his life because of
that.
I don't know if it was his Heisman or other memorabilia
or whatever that he tried to steal,
which he said was originally stolen from him, and I think it was proven that might have been true. But he came in with heavy artillery to recover the stolen goods, which is still illegal.
Oh man, I hope they have a sequel to this show and it's about OJ's after trial life.
I think he's
that's like a more interesting thing for me. I feel like if the show was about his after trial life.
I think he's kind of this might have been National Enquirer, might not be true, but I saw a picture of him like wearing lipstick and being kind of like a pretty prisoner.
How did you even get that picture? There's no way.
I
don't buy it.
Probably not, but it was.
You're saying
funny.
we can't make a post trial OJ show where he's like an anti-hero like Breaking Bad?
No, the spinoff will just be of the spinoff is the Kardashians. So
yeah. He was my number 2, so we have the same number 1. There's no way we don't.
Oh, the Minister of Defense. Come on.
Yeah, it's Johnny.
I met him at the All-Star game in New York City. One of the far and away the celebrity that I was most excited to meet in my whole life. And I just met Derek Jeter and was like, "You're not shit." Excuse me.
Johnny Cochran's amazing. He also like spun up like Seinfeld even created like a fake character about him that was great.
I guess he's kind of like got some like Al Sharpton in him and some of that too, but
yeah.
But his just presence in stereotypical lawyer roles is amazing. He's probably the most famous lawyer ever.
For being a lawyer, at least.
Yeah, not a guy who was a lawyer and then became exactly, and then became attorney general and then became governor and then became whatever.
Yeah, but like for like a person who's famous for actually just being a lawyer, there's no way it's not him. Unless, are we forgetting somebody? Who else could it be? I think it's him.
I mean, even if you count like attorney generals and stuff, he's probably more famous than them. Like Kenneth Starr.
Is he more famous than Chris Christie?
Well, he's a governor now.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, you're right. And Johnny Cochran is more famous than all these people. Johnny Cochran is more famous than anybody on the Supreme Court.
Because, all right, exactly. Like, in 20 years, if you ask people about Chris Christie, because this doesn't look like this is his year.
Unless they're from New Jersey, they won't really.
They're not going to really remember.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Cochran will have a place.
They'll be like, was Chris Christie? He was like that fat guy who tried to be president. I don't know.
I mean, he's like in like 8th place. People are more likely to remember crazy ass Ben Carson.
Yeah. Because he's so crazy.
Also, a black Republican does stand out.
There's a few though. Like they are always trying to get Colin Powell and what's her face to like run for a while there.
Condi?
Yeah. Right? Wasn't there like a push like a few years ago of people like wanting her to run?
Colin Powell will never run because he hates the fucking crazy right wing people. Like he hates like Tea Party types.
Well, he's like he's a reasonable Republican.
Yeah, those guys are gone.
He's like, yeah, like, yes, he's a reasonable Republican. And I think at some point a long time ago, I remember hearing something about like his family didn't want him to run.
He endorsed Obama.
Yeah.
So after that, there's no way you could ever run for a Republican office.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that was his retirement, and I'm sure he was okay with it. Condoleezza Rice is busy on the BCS committee.
Oh yeah, she's on the BCS committee though, so she's doing all right.
She's also president of Stanford. Apparently, that's a really good job to get. A lot of like political types go onto that job.
Like university president?
Yeah.
That makes sense, kind of.
Kenneth Starr is the president of Baylor.
So it's just like an easy like retirement of sorts, like a pseudo retirement, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying.
Or it's like it's not as intense as your previous job, but
I'm guessing the primary function is fundraising and being a bit of a figurehead beyond that.
Yeah, that's probably it. And she's probably very good at that.
You're not like balancing budgets. I mean,
you have people under you do that.
You have final approval, I would guess, but yes, you have people under you doing it.
Yeah.
All right, so we both agree on Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
Possibly the greatest attorney of all time.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Probably the greatest line in the history of courtroom cases. I don't know.
See, if the OJ trial wasn't real, you would just think it was some shitty ass Lifetime type thing that was made up.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't even be a good cable network.
It's a Lifetime movie.
Maybe USA if they did it right. And now FX looks like it's fucking it up. But
I mean, I love OJ like trying to put on the glove. I mean, that's the best part of that is you're putting it on, you're letting somebody put it on themselves when they can pretend it doesn't fit. And technically this person's an actor.
Also, leather shrinks.
Yep. Also, like people wear gloves that are too tight. Like you can wear something that's too tight and still wear it.
And even though he won, even though that point was seated, there was still his DNA at the scene.
Don't worry about that.
So, I mean, maybe this was a little before we could.
I don't think you understand. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. He laid it out right there. There was no choice after that. It didn't fit. You know, people in the jury were just like, well, got to acquit.
So I read today that the jury was 9 African Americans
of
12 jurors. Also, 4 people were kicked off the jury, which doesn't shock me at all because the trial went for a year plus. So that jury,
how crazy would that be to have been like on that jury?
What would your employer say?
You're fired?
They can't. You're doing your civic duty.
Don't worry. I'm sure they can figure it out. I don't know, but like they've definitely replaced you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they might just have to carve out a new job for you, but like it's not like you're gone for a week and like somebody's just covering for you. You know what I mean? Like they've definitely just replaced you.
But the jury was 9 African Americans out of 12 people. That is disproportionate to the population of Los Angeles, or I would guess any American city. That's how good OJ's defense team was, though.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh man, I'm gonna watch this show.
I mean, I don't think it's good, but I'm definitely gonna watch it.
I mean, I'll at least start watching it, and if hopefully it's minimum like a True Detective season 2, where like I can enjoy it and kind of make fun of it at the same time.
There's gonna have to be parts of that.
Is there gonna be a True Detective season 3?
Remember how excited we were about this time last year? Like, we were so excited to just talk about who was going to be in the new True Detective.
And then it happened. and then it happened.
Yeah, it was. Oh.
I'll probably watch the next one if they make a third one. I won't give it a full season. It'll be like, I'll start watching it. And if it's bad, I'll probably quit.
Well, you wonder if they want, if it's because it's HBO's brand, but someone else's concept. You wonder if they'll fire the showrunner.
Well, the issue, I think, wasn't, maybe that guy only had the one good story in him, right?
Well, maybe he needed more than a year.
Yeah.
I mean, look at George R. R. Martin, or as those of us in the community call him, GRRM. He's had 6-7 years to put this thing together, and he can't.
Do you think he's even really writing another book?
I don't think we're ever going to see this fucking book. Even if he lives till 80.
So how could you've like created this? For those who don't know, George R. Martin is the guy who writes the Song of Fire, Ice and Fire books, Game of Thrones books.
Okay, yeah, we've
the Game of Thrones
need to identify that.
How could you even like keep track of like all of the things you've written to then like not screw up something? Like
I read somewhere that he has like someone who's like his archivist.
Okay, because you like continuity wise, it seems like it'd be impossible to not to screw up. And I mean, that's clearly part of what is making it take forever. The more you write, there's more continuity that you have to check into.
I mean, I also wonder if he's just too crazy detail oriented. He's bringing new characters into this epic in the 5th book.
Well, you got to bring few, but like, yeah,
new
major
entire plot lines.
You picture that he has like a whole house that's like one of those things, like at The Wire, like the board, like the cork board with like the strings.
Yeah. I think he's got like a whiteboard.
I think like his whole like every wall, and it's just like lines everywhere, like around, like upstairs, like to other walls.
The other thing that is so discouraging about it is he takes other writing projects and seemingly completes them.
Yeah, for sure. That book's never going to exist. And there's supposed to be a whole nother book after it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe once the series goes past the books and it's all laid out, maybe the pressure will be gone and he'll...
No, because he'll do something different.
Oh, well, that's why it's still going to be exciting.
Because he's not going to be the same. He's going to be like, well, I had this idea. Like, that's way better than what the show did. I know I told them the show, this is how it ends, but I have a better idea. So I'm going to have to write a whole nother extra book to get to there.
I mean, there's already been at least one instance where one book became 2.
It became 2 because modern printing couldn't print the book big enough.
Oh, I didn't know that was why.
That's why. He didn't split it into 2 because he thought it made more sense. Modern printing technology could not bind the book large enough.
That's amazing.
So he had to split it into 2 books.
But they have different titles.
Yeah.
Because
of how he split it, though. Think about it. Because of how he split like the characters, he pulled like different characters kind of into. For those who don't know, you've seen Game of Thrones, I'm sure, most likely. He split the characters were split in those books into 2 separate books. So like one book didn't have the Targaryen, like Khaleesi in it. She wasn't in that book. She was in the other book. One book didn't have Jon Snow in it. So he like split up the paths of the characters.
Dude, we're not that far from Game of Thrones, though.
I know. We're going to have like 8 Game of Thrones pods.
Yeah. Anyone who makes, you know what? If you make fun of it, you haven't seen more than like 3 consecutive episodes.
Also, if you make fun of it, there's definitely something nerdy that you're into that I can make fun of too if I wanted to.
Or you're a girl who watches so much terrible television on E that you don't get to vote on what I watch.
Just You should, if you haven't watched it, just watch it. You have actually probably the perfect amount of time to start watching it now.
Well, yeah,
to like do some like heavy
binge.
If you know how to binge, but not like over binge. You don't have to like. It's not like too hard to do right now if you really wanted to do it.
You'd have to do like 4 a week, right? More than that.
How much? It starts April something. You got a couple months. You got at least 2 full months, if not closer to 3. You got to do a season like every week and a half, 2 weeks.
That's so easy. I knocked out season 1 in like 3 days.
Especially like now that football season's over.
Sundays are terrible now. And you know, Mad Men's not coming back, so it won't be the same even when.
Yeah. It was weird having them. They were always on the same time, which was annoying because I wanted them to be spread out.
It sucked because yes, like right now you would love to have a Mad Men.
Yeah. We'll have that weird vinyl show on HBO, which
I'm skeptical.
I'm totally skeptical too. It could be awesome. It could be awesome.
Push the release.
Yeah.
In like in like a week or 2 before it was coming out, they pushed it back 2 or 3 weeks.
You never know though. They fix things, they tinker. Like I read this huge thing about how the original Game of Thrones pilot was like the worst TV show ever. It was like they were basically like, this is garbage. And they like recasted characters. Like multiple characters were new people, like Daenerys, Catelyn Stark, like were new people were casted. Entire plot lines were cut out. Like they completely changed the show, and they apparently it was like the greatest turnaround because that happened. That's pretty common though in like the pilot world, but apparently it was like the greatest turnaround in like the history of like a crappy pilot to a great pilot.
Was it HBO? Did HBO own the rights then too?
Yeah, yes, it was HBO. It was HBO. So it was like you saw John Aaron's death. You saw, but like there was just completely different actors in some of the roles.
Interesting.
You can like Google it.
That pilot will get released someday. It'll be like a rarity.
Yeah, I just wonder if they would have to pay the actors.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Who like aren't, you know what I mean? Like the ones who didn't make it.
I mean, I would totally watch it, but
I would too, even though everybody's telling me it's garbage. They could literally put any Game of Thrones thing on and I'll watch it.
Oh yeah, I am confident that we will probably be getting Game of Thrones for the rest of our lives.
I hope. I mean,
but you don't hope because the dilution, the quality, it will get so diluted.
Let's just no, I do hope.
Really?
This is how I am. I don't. No, just put it out. If I can choose to stop.
You're right.
If you want to keep putting it out, I mean, now Game of Thrones has taught me how Star Wars nerds are.
Yeah,
I can't make fun of them.
I like watch Star Wars. Our thing is crazy more intricate. Theirs became that way after the fact when all those other
books and like other things. Yes. Ours started that way,
but it's created the universe around it. Our universe already existed, like ours. Like I'm fucking writing it. Like we're in tandem. The showrunners.
Yeah. You're Team GRRM.
Team GRRM.
All right, this has been great. Some nice rambling here at the end.
Yeah, well, that's fun. This was just an auditory G chat.
It really was.
Welcome.
Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, please like our Facebook page. And the 2 best things you could do are share our podcast with anybody via Facebook, via whatever. And subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher and write a review or a comment.
I have a plug as well.
Yes, Brendan does have a plug.
On Thursday, February 25th, I am co-producing a comedy show in the basement at Beer Bistro. It's going to be a monthly show.
Beer Bistro West Loop.
Beer Bistro West Loop.
Okay.
On Madison and Morgan.
Yeah.
So please come out. And we have booked some really good comics, and it's going to be a blast.
Yeah. You guys should definitely do that because despite how not funny he is on this podcast, he's hilarious at stand-up.
Plus, I'm hardly doing any time. So
you're just surrounding yourself with great people. That's the key to success.
Absolutely. Some people are talented. Some people are talent identifiers.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you later.